Hello guys, I hope you're doing good. So right now I am read the second episode, so I will start from here. The peacocks on the lawn were beautiful but spiritual, especially when they were mating. At times you notice the mates sounded like cats, but at other times they sounded like women screaming. Their cries issued draw my small close until even with the window shut I called her there. Plenty of voice in my mind. Help, help. They caved and wailed, at least that's what it sounded like to me. Sometimes I think about all the women who sat at the desk. All of us believe in this small, contained space represents something so much bigger. Success, glamour, freedom, only even had their initials carved into the ornate mode until years into my marriage. I had them sounded away. I didn't replace them with my own initials. The desk was a permanent fixture in a house where I was not. It was where I lived, but it was never my home. There was very later in that huge opulent house that belonged to me. I spent a decade of my life at the Playboy Mansion. First, I was just a guest. At Athlete started gear at a party, then I became a girlfriend. I became a member of arguably the most high-profile, visible modern harem in existence. I became a playboy, central for that holy grail of success in the playboy world on newsstand across the country. I became the fiancé of one of the most beautiful, controversial, mythical men in the public imagination. And then I left, and I became his runaway bride, the only one he ever chased after. Eventually, I became his wife. At the end, I became his caretaker, and when he died, I became a widow and a simple officially, first as vice president and then as president of the board at the huge Ifner Foundation. It was my job to help keep the foundation well founded and well regarded unofficially. It was also my job to embody the Playboy myth, to embody the huge Ifner myth. He had worked so hard for more than 7 decades to control the narrative of who he was and how he was, and in his mind, perpetuating this story was the most valuable thing. He left me when he died. I have only ever told a small slice of my story. I have only ever told the shiny, glamorous part, the part that people wanted to hear, the good peace party. This was because I didn't want to see myself as a victim. Partly this was because I didn't want to upset his family. Mostly this was because I'd made a promise to him. My last year at the mansion, he wanted me near him. At all times I had always had a curfew, but now it was pumped girly and early when he didn't know where I was. He whipped up the stuff into a frenzy to find me. He was frail and tired, but he really talked about it. The only thing he wanted to make sure I knew was that he wanted to be buried in Wheatstone Village Memorial Park next to Marilyn Monroe. He had already bought the grave for $75,000. Back in the 19th, he said he didn't care about the funeral service. He won't live at all those details to me. I won't be there, was all he said. Do whatever you want. All he cared about was that he ended up in this lot. It was right next to Marilyn. She was the first woman to cross the cover of Playboy and to appear nude inside his page. He put her in there without her permission. After paying the photo from calendar company, she never got at them, and she certainly didn't have any say in whose one would be lying next to her, but all eternity I didn't say a word. If that's what he wanted, that's what he would get. If always got what he wanted. He told me a lot that he loved me, told me he'd be waiting for me on the other side. I tried to see this is a nice thing, but it felt oppressive, almost like a threat. I used to go out for drives during the day just to get out of that house. Every time I drove away, I thought about the time I was prevented from leaving, the time I had to sneak past security guards or to escape, and the time I willingly went back. I would drive around a city I didn't know well because 14 years I'd been sealed up inside that house. Once I drove all the way to Santiago through the rich neighborhoods where I grew up, moving around from apartment to apartment after my dad died, past the swankier neighborhoods where we lived when my mom was dating someone who had money. I'd drive past the campus of the college I'd once gone to, majoring in psychology and dreaming of helping others. I drove past the teeny apartment once I lived, and I drove past the cemetery where my first love was buried 2 years ago. When we were both so young, I drove to the beach where my dad used to love to fish. Too, and was always his favorite place to be. I drove out all the loss and grief and confusion and mistake I had made, and wondered who I would be if I hadn't been pushed to the play. Promotion for a Halloween party one long ago night. I was responsible for my shoes, but the cost felt so much higher than I called my mom. Sometimes on these trips, she was one of the any real friends. Anyone and everyone would stab you in the back. Our ups and downs, but I could always tell her anything I would. Times it felt hard to breathe, like there was an iron band around my chest, keeping me from ever taking a deep enough breath. Honey, she said to me so many times, you have money saved. You don't have to stay there. Just pick up your stuff and go. I can't leave him, I tell her, and then I drive faster because I was worried I had been gone too long, and because I knew I had felt once, and I ended up just as lost. Once upon a time I had desperately needed Howard Jr., and then later he desperately needed me. 91st birthday in April of 2017 was his last. It was exactly the same as every birthday that had come before. It did him, as always, was Casablanca. He loved all movies. The black and white classic where the women were damsel in distress and the men were men and strong. But Casablanca was his all-time favorite. He screened it on his birthday every year in the movie room with all the party guests in costume, the men in white, the women in slanking. The dining room was rigged out like with posters on the walls and decoration that hinted at this Moroccan expat. At the end of the movie, when Rick and Elsa parted ways, he cried something about the dormant romance really got to him. By now he knew that he could be very sentimental. He could also be very cruel. That night on his 91st birthday, he cried at the end of the movie. As he always did, he turned to look at me with tears in his eyes, showing me that he was upset, as if to say, "So, do something, I am sad." I took his hand, gave him a kiss. He used to dress up. So I hope to like my video. If you liked my video, don't forget to subscribe my channel and like my video. Bye bye.